Hey, buddy.
Hi.
So it's Friday. You're not at school.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, long story short, I'm taking a day off for the sake of my mental health.
Yeah, totally. Well, you were pretty stressed out yesterday, weren't you? Like, I don't think I've seen you. When was the last time you remember feeling that stressed out?
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen you that stressed out. What do you reckon?
I have no idea.
Yeah. So we decided, I think the catalyst, the biggest thing was you had some work due from a couple of subjects and you just couldn't get your head around it, yeah? They were due the next day and you just couldn't get your head around it. And the consequences, that's what it really was, wasn't it? It wasn't the fact that it was the consequences of not handing it in or the consequences of, was that what it was? Can you explain a little bit?
So.
Do a medium story, not a long, because the short was very short.
Well, the consequences were not, it wasn't the other subjects I was worried about, but rather biology.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so it was just Bo was like super crazy, stressed out about the consequences of if he didn't get and the consequences being the ramifications on you, not like to my score or to this or that, but you said you didn't feel safe, yeah? Yeah. So then so I decided that we were going to get you an extension. Didn't we? We went up. You know what? Let's get rid of all the consequences. I'm going to get you an extension. And then it went from extension to what?
A day off.
A day off? How did we get there?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Either Mr. Noble called you or you called Mr. Noble.
No. Sorry, that was the support worker, because we have an NDIS review of a review of a review of a, what's to the like squared, what's a review squared to the power of like, yeah. Anyway, we have a review squared this afternoon. Well, you don't. I do. Yay for me. So no, how we got to the day off was that first I was saying, hey, let's get you an extension on one subject. And you were kind of, all right. And then I was like, well, let's get you an extension on two subjects. And then you were like, oh my God, I don't want to be a bother to anyone. I don't want anyone to think that I'm, what was it you said? Or something along the lines of...
entitled?
That I'm is that what it was? Yeah. So you didn't want to feel demanding.
Yeah, demanding.
Oh, yep. There you go. So you didn't want to feel demanding, like you were, which I don't think is the case. I think you're the least demanding human being I've ever met in my life. Have you met your mother? Demanding. Gonna get my demanding cap on this afternoon at 3:30 for the NDIS. I'll be demanding with like a little one of those World War II German helmets on and a placard. We want our money. So and you got it, but the idea of being demanding, but also the relief. How did that relief feel of the thought of like not having to hand everything in tomorrow?
It felt great.
Yeah. So I could see that he really didn't, he came into the room like last night. You weren't even going to come in and talk to me, were you? But you said, well, how did you get upstairs?
Chops was going upstairs, and I thought she was going to start coming in one of our rooms.
and rape the rubbish bin.
Yeah.
Which she does, yeah, when she's naughty. And somehow, what did you say to me? I'm really... was like on edge or triggered or... you said, you can't tell, but I'm really...
Stressed out?
No, I can't remember the words you used.
Oh, short fused.
Short fused. Gosh, you're doing good. You're doing really, really well. So you were yelling at the dog. I was upstairs working. You were yelling at the dog and you just turned to me and said, you can't tell. And your face was like, ah. And I was like, oh, I can tell.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think you could tell because I thought I was being calm on the outside.
You were totally calm right up until the point where you said, you can't tell, but. And then your whole face and body changed and you went, you can't tell, but I'm really confused at the moment. Do you remember the face you made when I said, let's do some deep breathing? You were like, and I was like, okay, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're just not going to, I'm not even going to try it. You know what? We're just going to fix the problem. We're not going to do like all of our little usual bullshit to get you deep breathing and let's get all our hippie on. We're not doing it. Let's cut to the chase, dude. You were that over the edge. So, we sat down, we had a talk. We found out what the actual problem was. The actual problem in like now that you're doing chemistry, you might start listening to phrases and associating them better. Because I was going to say when you boil it down, we found out what the actual problem was. What does that mean when someone says if you boil it down, you find out what the problem was?
I don't know.
Okay, so in chemistry, if you boil something, what happens to the solution?
I don't know.
You heat it?
Yeah.
What happens to water when you heat it?
It turns into steam?
Yep, so it
evaporates.
It evaporates, right? So if you've put one component into that water and you boil out all of the water, what are you left with?
The soluble?
The component, right?
Yeah.
So what we did was we boiled out all of the other stuff to find out what was in this water. What's the problem? We boiled it down to get past I'm stressed about homework, to get past I'm stressed about not finishing assignments. We had to boil down past that. We had to boil down past the assignments. We had to boil down past I've got too much going on. We had to find out what was the soluble that was causing your trigger to break down. And it turns out it was a big one. It was your personal safety. And you know, so that phrase, when you boil it down, it means to find out the exact problem. Because we had to get through it. So it turns out that you were, what was the term? Fear-ridden.
Yeah.
Fear-ridden. Absolutely fear-ridden of your personal safety. And that was a trigger for me. And I went, there ain't no world that my boy...
I did state I don't know if it was going to happen.
No, that's right. That's what a fear is. Like, you don't know. That's 100% right.
All
Your
right.
fear, you were fear-ridden with the idea of your personal safety. So I said, I'm going to fix this. And I said, right, ain't no world, my boy ain't no world that my boy is going to walk around in where he's going to feel fear-ridden in any subject, in any school, in any workplace, in any environment, in any class. Doesn't matter. So number one, the first thing we had to do when you've got someone that had this whole, because you were shaking, weren't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
You were shaking, and I needed to just pop the balloon and release all the pressure at once. This wasn't a slow release thing where I'm going to tick off little boxes and go, hey, guess what? I got you an extension on this. Maybe I got you. I was like, you're having the day off. We're going to have a long weekend. Right? That's how we got to here. Now we're here. How are you feeling?
Much better. I'll tell you that right now.
Really? Yeah. So, you had a little lie-in because I came into you first thing this morning to check on you, see how you were, and you had a plan, didn't you? Because I said, don't forget today's still about working, and you were like, yeah. What did you say? I'm starting
chemistry.
Start with chemistry. You had a time you wanted to start. You were going to start with chemistry. You had exactly, then you were going to have lunch, then you were going to get some more done. What are you going to do now this afternoon?
Just probably take a rest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't need to get some more done, some maths or some...
I worked on chemistry, I made my lunch, and then I let Steven in, and now I'm doing this recording.
True. Oh, you're going to have a little break from that. Okay. So, what did you do last night? You did a bit of chemistry.
And psychology.
Did you finish and complete psychology?
Yeah.
So that's ticked and that's done. So all you have left now is chemistry. Have you finished chemistry?
Not yet.
So we have a whole 2 days. We have a whole 2 days. We still got Saturday. We still got Sunday to finish chemistry. Do a bit of maths. Keep going. Wasn't there something with physics?
Yeah.
Yeah? And so we need to do a bit of physics? So you basically got a day a subject as long as you add 20 minutes of chemistry in there.
Yeah.
And what else? And a bit of maths. Does that seem like so simple?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? It seems really like all of a sudden going from the world is falling apart to that's pretty simple. And how are you feeling about school in general now? Now that we've had a day off to
settling down.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's settling down. So do you think that on Monday, with the plans that we have in place, being all caught up?
Well, I mean, there's still Friday lesson plans that...
I wouldn't worry about today's lesson plans. Number one, we know that we don't have to worry about biology lesson plans. Okay, so that's immediately. Number two, we have the psychology, Miss whatever, I can't remember, I'm not going to say names anyway, but she's on camp. So it's a substitute teacher anyway. So we don't have to worry about psychology.
Sometimes, actually, when a double lesson is cancelled, it's just
you go home.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So we don't have to worry about biology. We don't have to worry about psychology.
Well, I mean, despite the lesson being cancelled, she still puts up lesson plans.
Which we had for the whole week, which we will finish working on Tuesday when we go back to Jenny. All we have to do is 20 minutes of chemistry each day. So, hold on. Does that mean all you've got is maths and English that you need to worry about lesson plans for?
Well, I think maths is starting revision, but I'm not too sure.
Beautiful.
I'm not too sure. Don't take my word for it.
Okay. But if I write to them, I can take their word for it.
All right. So basically, English.
How does that see?
All right, and
that's us boiling it
physics.
down. So English and physics, right? So now we have just boiled it down to find out what we actually need to worry about for today's lesson plans. And if I write to them and they say, you know what, take your mental health day, don't worry about your lesson plan for today, then we go back to which plan? The one that we had for
Thursday.
So we go back to Thursday, and all we have to do over the weekend is what?
Work on them.
We just have to, you've finished so many, all you've got to deal with is catching up in maths, because you haven't been working on maths or chemistry because you've been putting all of your time over into another area. Right? So because that was being sucked away, all the other subjects were piling up on top of you. Because you were fearful of your personal safety, you let everything else go. If I had have known, and this I think is a really important point, buddy. I knew you were stressed. I knew I was trying to work it out. I knew I was trying to fix things, but I did not know that you were fearful for your safety, right? I know I said this to you yesterday, but you must come up and talk to me so that we can fix this, because chasing the dog upstairs and then just finding out perchance that you're in that kind of state, I can't do what I do best, which is, what do I do best? Actually, I'd really like to hear this. What do you think I do best?
I don't know.
What do you think I do best?
Sort it out.
Sort it out. I like it. I like it. That's a nice thing. What do you think you do best?
Probably work.
You do work really well. I sort it out and you work really well. We actually make quite a good team. All right, buddy. Thank you. Oh, just, you know what? Go chill. Do a bit of running if you want. Haven't done much of that at all today. If you want to, actually I need to check the bottom of your feet, but still, if you want to go do a run, and are you going to do anything at all this evening? Just a little bit? Yeah, I think it's a great idea, because the more we get done, the less we have to do tomorrow. How's the mental health feeling?
Much better.
You rock.
Thank you.